Wow, can you believe it's like May already? I can't believe it.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
it. All this rain coming in, spring flowers, right? Those are coming around the corner here in Canada.
exactly, exactly. So, welcome everybody to another series of our Super Spotlight on heroes of either parents or educators or entrepreneurs who have made a big difference on children at a young age. We're here to meet another hero who will explain to us, how or why did they do that, or what difference did it make? And then between Tammy and I, we're going to share a little bit more about how we're doing it, raising empowered kids, right?
I love this, Sylvia, because when I asked you, because I'm new to this guest as well, and I was saying to you, well, tell me a little bit about her, and you were like, Tammy, it's almost like a novel. I don't even know where to start. So I'm super excited to learn about this guest with you and together and hear who she is. And I know you're a big fan of her, so let's bring her in.
Yay! Here she comes. All right, we have today Danielle Hubbard from Atlanta. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys today?
We're fabulous. We're so
Awesome,
excited
awesome.
to
So
see
happy
you.
to have you here, Danielle. And I can't wait to learn all about you. Sylvia's been raving about you, so this is super
Oh,
exciting.
thank you so much.
Well, Danielle, you and I met a few years back, and it all started. We finally figured out when you were doing Nicholas, actually, your son Nicholas, who is, how is he now? Like
He
14,
just turned 13.
13? Oh my goodness. I
Yes,
keep thinking he's
just
older than he is.
no, no, do not make him older. So, mhm.
Yeah, and he was doing his production, and
Yes,
he was inviting real kidpreneurs to join. And so that's where we first got to meet.
yes,
So
because he actually invited Ben, which is your son, to be part of the show. So,
yeah. And so I know that he started very, very little when you started giving him those opportunities. Can you give us a little hint of like or summary of like where it started and how far you've grown with him?
well, it started when Nicholas was 7 years old. Nicholas had an idea. Well, actually, he was at school and I used to teach him expanded vocabulary. And so his first grade teacher was so impressed that she messaged me and she was like, "Oh my gosh, this year we're going to have a wonderful year in school because of some words that he was using." And I thought as a parent, I'm like, "Oh wow, Nicholas, do you want to write a book?" Because I felt like that if the teacher was so impressed, maybe other people would be impressed. And, we'll make a few dollars off of selling some books to put them in basketball lessons or this or that, extra little cash. And what happened was we went to Barnes and Nobles and we did a book release at Barnes and Nobles. And it just went from there, from Whoopi Goldberg honoring him for Black History Month to him appearing on the Steve Harvey Show. So it started when he was 7. And like I said, he's 13 now. So we've been doing it for a few years.
Danielle, can I just jump in here? We've been talking about the importance of empowering kids at the youngest of age, and you talking about being 7. How does your son differ, or where is his confidence and clarity and his, potentials versus a lot of his classmates? Because we see that the kids that start this really young, they're not afraid. Whereas kids, as they start later and later on in life, they get afraid of what that experience would be like, or they are afraid to put themselves out there. But with your son starting at age 7, he's been doing this forever, so there, that fear and those limiting beliefs are already busting through, right?
Exactly. So he's been doing it since 7, and it's so funny because his confidence level is just so high. When he goes to different events, he's dealing with people that are much older than him, and he approaches them, he gives them that eye contact, he shakes their hand, and he speaks as if like he's not nervous. I think once you get a little older, you get that nervousness, but starting them so young, it's just like it just eliminates all that. He goes into every situation with confidence, like he belongs there. So he doesn't wonder like, should I be here? So he knows he's supposed to be there. So
Yeah.
I
And I've
love that.
seen him do his interviews on, it's just he's so calm. And I'm like, wow, which you just have to have it doesn't come overnight to be this calm,
oh,
like it's really impressive.
It's
And then
It's
Yes.
taken me 10 years to try to get into these interviews and not get into out of my head, right? And this is what it reminds me of Kid President. When
Mhm.
he's one of my favorites when I watch Kid President and how confident. It's because kids aren't afraid. I see my kindergartens, they're not afraid. Every single one of them wants to put their hands up and shout out to the world. But by the time you see them in grade 8, if they haven't been nurtured and grown that, it's like tweeting, right? They're so afraid that they're going to be judged or somebody's going to say something to them. And it's because too, they don't have the confidence. Now, if you're speaking and I know exactly what I'm going to be saying and I'm really clear and confident because I keep saying it over and over and I become a master like your son has become,
Mhm.
that's that clarity, that confidence, that's where the calmness comes in because now I know exactly what I'm going to say. I
Yes.
know how I'm going to say it and I'm a master at it. But if you go into front of your peers and you're afraid to make a mistake or not look very smart or articulate,
Mhm.
that's when the nerves come in and nobody wants to be put on the spot on talking
Right.
about things that they're not good at.
Exactly. And what's so funny is that I don't do interviews a lot at all. Nicholas does all the interviews. So even when Sylvia asked me to do this interview, I'm like, are you sure you want to interview me? Because the nerves kick in, but and because I didn't start as early as Nicholas. And that's what it is. You start like you teach kindergarten. When you start the kids so young, the kids are like sponges. That whatever you teach them, they soak it up and they retain it as long as you just keep it in front of them. And that's the beauty. That's why I tell parents, start young, because once they get to a certain age, their brain, they want to go play video games, they want to play with their friends and all, and it's harder for them to soak things up and retain because they're not as interested either anymore. So it's very important to start young.
Yeah.
Can you also share about how Nicholas is helping the world with what he started out as a book and now what is he up to?
Oh my God, let me see. What is he up to? But he
His
does so
nonprofit?
much. Yeah, he does so much. So like he does, like I said, so much. And so Nicholas is Ghanaian. His father's from Ghana. And so we visit Ghana. We have a home in Ghana, so we visit Ghana very often. And he was over there one year and he became friends with a lot of the neighborhood kids. And they would come over and we would do things for them as far as we would bring the television outside like a movie theater. And I had all the Spider-Mans, the Supermans and all. And so it would be about 20, 25 kids a day in my yard. And we would, cook food and everyone would eat. And so Nicholas was like, Mom, I want to do something because he noticed that they did not have as much as what he had. And so he says, Mom, I want to do something for my friends here in Ghana, which in turn made us come home to the States and we started a nonprofit called Books Without Borders. Because along with not having a lot of things, the whole educational material they did not have either. So we started Books Without Borders because since Nicholas was started to work on his books, and we started donating to the kids in Ghana. So every year we do something special for Ghana with his nonprofit.
I love that so much. So what could you come up with a transformational story? Like it's maybe how you've done the books and how books have transformed either your lives, your son's life, or the children that you're gifting them to.
So I would say when it comes to dealing with the children in Ghana, um, it's very limited when it comes to, for instance, we deal a lot with the Library Association there, which is dealt with, it's ran by the government. And they have, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a Books on Wheels. And they go to the different regions. They only have a few buses and they go to the different regions. And the kids started really complaining because they say that it's always the same books. They're reading the same books. And so that's why it was very important for us to start trying to donate. We don't just donate Nicholas's books. We have people that actually donate books to us and we take them to Ghana to try to give them different things to read. Because if you're reading the same thing, you're not really expanding on your vocabulary at
Right.
all. So yeah, and so I think that has changed. We haven't been able to help as many kids as we want because we would love to really donate to, like I said, I want to say they have, oh my gosh, roughly 25 regions or so, and they only have a few buses that go to each of these regions, in which that bus is their library. So they don't have libraries in their school. So I think for what the little that we do, I think it does make a great impact on the kids in Ghana. And they email us all the time and tell us how important it is for them over there. So
Wow.
Mhm.
You know, I love what you're saying, because my superpower is storytelling. My favorite tool to use in the classroom is a story. And for me, like, a story can change your life. One
Yes.
story, one book, one person can transform your life. And one of my favorite little stories is The Ugly Duckling. And I love telling that story because on so many levels, there is so much wisdom to that story. People, you know, they lose those forgotten tales, fables, stories that are classic. And the
Mhm.
reason why I love The Ugly Duckling so much is because it's all about, you know, he's different from all the other ducks, but he doesn't stay where he's not wanted, where he's not celebrated. He continues on his journey. And what I
Mhm.
realize is, you know, he continues to go, and he's scared and he's nervous, and he goes through the 4 seasons. And then when he looks in the water, right, this mirror, he sees himself not as he thought he was, right? By how everybody thought. And here he is, this beautiful swan, and
Yes.
he's admiring all these swans, and he realizes that that's who he is. And so I love the tool of a mirror, because, you know, it's a reflection of who we are, and a lot of times of our inner world. So you've
Mhm.
got those tools, you've got that story. And what does that mean to me? What does that mean to you? Because everybody will interpret a story differently and
Yes.
get something from it. So any of those kind of stories, I love fantasy, I love real stories, I love every type of story.
I
Yeah.
love story. I love, and it's so funny because as you grow, you're supposed to get into the more adult like books. But I tell you, I love a good fairy tale. I love a good fairy tale because they always, it seems that they always do teach a lesson. Yes.
Fables and fairy tales, right? I love it. So do you have a favorite fairy tale? One of your favorites?
Okay, so this may be a little biased, but my last name is Hubbard. And so I always do the whole "Oh Mother Hubbard." I'm sorry, that's always my go-to.
I love Old Mother Hubbard. And you know, we've actually made ours into a little goose, right? Where it's a little goose that is got all the stories around them. So I just love, because it's fun, it's
Mhm.
fantasy, they're fairy tales, and they're a way for adults to come back to our inner child, to
Right.
have fun and play. And there's so much wisdom. Like, children's literacy in university was one of my favorite topics, because it's about going and discovering things that you missed reading those stories and fairy tales when you were young, because your perspective and your wisdom has grown.
Yes,
And
yes.
also, Danielle, your production company is called
Mhm.
Mother Hubbard Productions.
Yes, uh-huh. So and the main business is Mother Hubbard and Co. So yes, so everything and it's so funny because everyone asks, why did you name your business Mother Hubbard? And I said, well, that's my last name. So and I deal, you know, I love it for the simple fact I deal everything that we work on as far as projects is always with kids. So
Mm.
it was perfect. It was perfect. So
That is perfect. I mean, you know what? Talk about alignment and your purpose in calling in life,
yes.
right? All the stars aligned for you with that name and just what you're doing and your business.
Yes, it did. Yes, definitely.
Well, I also want to mention too, Tammy and I both noticed that in the back behind you, there is a beautiful, beautiful plaque, is it? That has the word truth on it. And I know that's a huge thing for us too, about being and speaking who you truly are.
Well, you know what's funny about that? That's actually an award that Nicholas received, and it's from the Truth Playmakers Award. And Nicholas received it from, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Christian Truth Jones. I want to say he's 15 or 16 right now, but he's a millionaire. He teaches people how to play stocks. And he started off when Tesla got really big, and you know he made a lot of money with Tesla. He teaches people how to play the stock market, and so Nicholas was invited to one of his award shows and received the award. So yes, but his name is Christian Truth Jones. Mhm.
Wow, talk about like so many things. I don't know
Yes.
what to say. I think Tammy's probably thinking the same thing as I am right now. A kid to a kid, and truth isn't his last
Yes.
name. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And you know what I love about this too is The Ugly Duckling is all about the truth. I say, you know, here were these animals calling him an ugly duckling, and it wasn't even the truth of who he was,
It
right?
was not the truth.
So, and that's the whole thing, is when he discovered his true identity, he was able to, that was his transformation, and was able to celebrate and live into that amazing life. So I love all this
Yes.
synergy. And Sylvia and I, when we first met, we were all about truth and integrity. And those were the
Wow.
common values that her and I were consistent in our language and everything that we were doing. So, you know, I love that it's right there behind your head, and there's a beautiful story there.
Not only
Well,
do you have so many awards, look at that.
this is not even all of them. That's just the little shelf that kind of holds some of them. So yes, he's always getting something. He keeps me busy. Nicholas keeps me very busy. So
And also I think as a parent raising him, like raising the empowered, Nicholas, you are helping him from a very, very young age, probably even before 7, to have already put that in
definitely.
place, right?
Well, definitely. And so, like I said, it was just the whole thing of me teaching him these words that made his teacher take notice. And we started that when he was younger. So I think when they're 3 and 4 years old, Nicholas, when he was 3 going on 4, he was reciting all the states and capitals. He was reciting all the presidents. So I was teaching him all these different things. So I think it's very important to start teaching kids because they're sponges. They're going to retain everything. So,
This reminds me of Ken's son, Kenny, Sylvia, when he brings him on in the conversations, he's reciting all these things and he's doing all these amazing things, and he's so smart. And that's what I love about, like, you're talking about the kid who, created that truth company, right? That, I mean, if he started young, this is why you start small, and Ben talks about that too. There's no risks involved, right? You start small and you learn the business when you don't have a family, you don't have jobs, you don't have all these other things piled up on top of that. So, you really do have the carefreeness of learning and falling and failing and then becoming an expert.
I love that. And that's absolutely true, that you can make a mistake and it's okay. Just get up and wipe yourself off and just, try again. The saying is, if at first you do not succeed, try again.
Try again.
Try again. So yes, definitely.
Yeah, this is amazing.
So I guess that would be one of your things that you would put in your toolbox for parents, for parenting toolbox, is your book, right? The Mother Hubbard. No,
Well,
I was saying mother. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because I don't have a book. So Nicholas has all the books. So Nicholas has published 4 books. Well, actually, we did co-author 1 book, which is his Christmas book. But his last book that he just released, it's called The Sky Is Not the Limit. Positive affirmations to help you rise above the sky. And that is something definitely that I will put inside the toolbox, for the simple fact is a book full of positive affirmations, which is very important because you have to stay encouraged. And it's very important for you to encourage yourself, because you're not always going to be surrounded by people that are going to encourage you. And that could be a downer sometimes. Like you wake up and you're feeling like, I'm defeated. Somebody told me no yesterday. What do I do today? So you wake up, read some type of positive affirmation and just do it again, try again, knock on another door. So,
I love that you put affirmations in there for sure. And you could even put some stars in your toolkit with the books, and maybe affirmations on the stars.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Oh.
Like one of them is, I am a shining star. Or, that could be one of the affirmations. And I always say to my students every day I see them, I say the star in me sees the star in you. And then we do, I am peaceful, I am happy, I am loving, I am kind, I am thankful, I am self-smart, I am an author and storyteller. So it's really beautiful. And then because we're in a Catholic school, we always say, Jesus is our master teacher, here to help us grow our 3 super brains, our head brain, our heart brain, and our gut brain, so we can become the best that we can be.
Oh, I like it. I could tell you're a teacher.
Yes, he's the best kindergarten teacher ever.
Well, again, we're conditioning them. It's a mindset, right? And if we use those affirmations day after day after day, they become part of our beliefs. And if they become our beliefs, they become our behaviors. And if they become our behaviors, they create our choices. So these are the things that we want to imprint in children right from the youngest of ages.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yes.
So by chance, is Nicholas around so we can say hello?
He's my sidekick. So wherever I'm at, he's there. So he's right here. You want to hop over here, Nicholas, and say hello?
Hi, hey, how are you doing?
Hey, Nicholas, I'm okay. I'm bowing down to you, young Lord. You're a master, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations on all the achievements that you made most recently that I've been following. I'm your biggest fan on your page. I
Oh,
think I got
wow.
a top fan badge. But Nicholas, can we ask you a question?
Of course.
Yes? Okay, so we've learned all about you and how you started and all of that. What is the one thing that you can, if I asked you right now, what would you want to change in the world and why?
Um, I'd say one thing I want to change. I want to see more kids owning businesses. I want to
Mhm.
see like because I actually have a few friends who own businesses. Some that are out there, some that are new, and I feel like that's something that I want to see in this generation. I want to see teenagers, even some kids starting off at elementary school, owning businesses, doing things.
And how do you
Wow.
see that different? And that's amazing. I love what you just said.
I
How do you
never would have expected you to say that. And by the look of your mom's face, I don't think she expected you to say that
I didn't
answer
know what he
too.
was gonna say. I was like, mhm.
That is, do you know, just imagine a world for a minute. I want us to hold this thought for imagine the world where children owned more businesses and they were empowered and they had the belief system. What kind of future would we be living if children, there's a book called If Children Ran the World, and it's one of my favorite books. It's a really great book, and you'll see it plays off of that. But just imagine that for a moment, what that world would look like, because children are so beautiful. They don't see color, they don't see
No.
age, they don't see race, they don't see,
Right.
division. They are altruistic, they have beautiful intentions. So
Yeah.
imagine if we have the beautiful qualities, because all those things, judgments, are taught. Right? But children are born beautiful. They're born into this beautiful unity-based mindset. Imagine if they started businesses from a young age, how beautiful our world would be.
Yes, and definitely because they are the future though too. So if they're starting young, they have more time to come up with different things to help this world to make everyone do better. So yes. Mhm.
And Sylvia, they're the geniuses of the planet, aren't they? Children are 98% geniuses. And as we get older, we lose our genius. A NASA study was done on that.
Just to kind of piggyback off of that is when you think about fairy tales, when you think about believing in Santa, when you think about Tooth Fairy and all, they say only up to a certain age, then your imagination goes away. So kind of, to what you just said, you kind of lose it all. So they're a genius at one point, but then as they get older, they kind of lose it. So yes. Mhm.
Can I ask Nicholas, as you're a an entrepreneur yourself, what are like the three biggest things that you've loved for being a kidpreneur? That way you're promoting to whoever is watching this video. Like what is so good about being an entrepreneur that you want everyone to start their business?
I feel like it's a learning experience for as you get older, first of all. So if you start off young, you're learning the way of business, you're gonna be set up for your future. So that's the biggest thing. And another thing I would say is do stuff with your parents, but don't have your parents like fully on top of you. Like you should be able to do stuff independently. So the biggest thing is like it's definitely a learning experience. And if you want to continue with your business, that's it's good. Like that's real good for your future.
Yeah. And
Wow.
on top of that too, that you connect with so many people that when you're older, you have already such a big circle of other like-minded people to be able to work with and collaborate with, right? And solve problems together.
Nicholas and Danielle, I want to meet you guys. So we have an amazing opportunity coming up called the Empowered Adventure in Niagara Falls. So one of the 7 wonders of the world. And we would, oh my goodness, be over the moon if you guys would be able to join us on that adventure on June 1st.
So, okay. So can you explain a little bit more about this? What is it exactly?
Well,
So Sylvia?
go ahead, Tammy.
So the Empowered Adventure is about giving kids a real in-person experience, because there's been so much things happening online. And what we want to do is we want to build this entrepreneurial, empowered spirit of families, of children that are on that pathway, that are interested in exactly what Nicholas is talking about. And imagine if you can come together and experience challenges and try new things. And then we have a red carpet where you can come and be featured, one of our featured families. We're going to have a videographer there. We're going to have a photographer there, and we're going to be asking and interviewing these kind of questions that we're doing right here with both of you, and then just putting a compilation video and having these awesome pictures where you guys can start to network and collaborate. So we're starting in person, but we're taking it internationally, because there's also a camp, a supernova camp, that you guys can sign up to and connect with entrepreneurial kids around the world. So
Nice.
it's
Nice.
the
And it's
starting
funny.
point.
Yeah, and it's funny because Nicholas says that's one of the places he wants to go to is Niagara Falls. So that would be perfect, actually. I would love, please send me more information and more details about this.
We
We absolutely
absolutely will. We'll
will.
put it in the link, right, Sylvia, with this
Yeah,
video?
for sure.
Okay,
And
thank
you'll
you.
definitely have to get a lot of get ready with all your toolkits, because I know Nicholas would have a huge toolkit with all the stuff that he's done. You know, the movies that the
Yes.
things he produced. This is a perfect place with all of these producers right here at the Niagara Falls International Film Festival, cross with our Raising Empowered Kids, cross with our kidpreneurs.
I
Like,
love
it's
it.
kind of like a hub.
I love it. I love it. And Nicholas was just asked to, can't tell too much detail about it, you know, but he was just actually asked to star in a movie that is coming out soon. So, well, not coming out soon, but they're going to start filming soon. So, so
So
we're really excited about that too.
So Danielle, this is an opportunity to be part of the film festival. There's going to be famous producers and everybody at the red carpet for 3 days. This is, and they're going to be featuring films and things like that. So Schitt's Creek, one of the producers, is going to be there from that film. So this is where I'm saying it's right in the dialogue, documentaries and things like that, that we're going to be developing, and how to share, again, your story and message and get it out into a wider audience. So, oh my goodness, this would be like a dream for all of us to have you guys there and be able to connect and network and support each other.
Definitely. And I would really love more information because I don't know if it's too late to put a film in there or not. But, you know, Nick's, no, we didn't discuss this. Nick's, he actually created his own TV show, Nick's House, and that we're putting out there for everyone. You can actually watch the pilot episode or so, but I don't know if there's still openings for the film fest or
Well,
not.
here's the thing. Sylvia and I are connected with Gordon So, who's running and hosting the whole thing. So this is why we're in partnership with Gordon So, who's the main manager putting the entire event on with his powerhouse people and network. So yeah, that's a really amazing opportunity.
We'll send you the link. So see if, I think you can still do it.
Well, let's
You're
try
still
to figure
accepting.
it out. So, okay, we'll talk about that later. So I'll get with you after this and we can discuss that. Perfect. I
Yeah.
love it.
And we'll
also-
connect you to Gordon, so you guys can have an open conversation. And if it doesn't work out maybe this year, it still may be an opportunity to plant the seeds and submit this for next year, because it's going to become an annual thing. And so this is where you could network and connect and talk and meet people and build the relationships up so that those steps are in place for next year. But before we leave, I want to ask Nicholas, if you had to put a tool in your toolkit as a teaching tool to talk and encourage people to become entrepreneurs, what would that tool be?
I would probably say hands-on learning. Like, and what I mean by that is like being straight hands-on, because us kids, we easily get sidetracked. So if you're teaching us in a way that basically bores us, we're not gonna listen. But if you teach us in a way that makes it look fun, we're hands-on, we're actually doing this stuff, that's how we kids love to listen.
So how would you incorporate that into a toolbox? So we were going to give a toolbox to someone. How would you incorporate a hands-on thing?
Maybe a hand?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And you could have 5 things to speak about. So you could have a hand in your toolkit and talk about the multiple intelligences on how children like to learn. And one of the things, Nicholas, I love that you're saying this, is because the empowered adventure is a hands-on experience. We're making it into the hero's journey. We're making it where we have challenges at the fall, and we have different ways to get you to overcome limiting beliefs, but you're getting to do it in collaboration. You get a toolkit, all the things, because I'm a teacher and Sylvia as well, we're making teaching and coaching in a fun and interactive way. And again, it's not just on paper, it's a real life experience with real people to network and collaborate, build relationships with.
That's
That's a
perfect.
great idea.
Thank you for
I like
sharing
that
that
thing.
tool.
Yeah, right. I like that. I like that.
So
And
Oh,
we'll
it
get you to
catches
think
your
about your
eye.
5 things. And then
Mhm.
when we invite you and interview you on the red carpet, you can be telling us what that hand means and why hands-on experiences are so important and valuable.
And you have to give her credit though too. And you have to I love
Well, Jenny's
it.
really good at helping everybody create their toolkit. So,
Mhm.
but I think definitely please bring your books. I would
Yeah.
even love if you could add one of your books to our bundle, empowerment book bundle that we're trying to offer as people follow this Super Spotlight series, because
Okay.
we have lots of authors, child authors coming in, and
Okay.
these books mean so much to us, but
Okay.
imagine being able to gift it to another child, right?
Oh yes, I would love that. I love to give out his very first book, because his very first book actually even has the augmented reality. So not only does it's all about teaching vocabulary in that book, and not only is it about teaching vocabulary, it actually speaks to you. So you can download the free app and hover over the images, and they actually move, and then hover over the words, and it reads to you. So it's really nice. So we'd love to donate those books to the organization. So
Well, I bet you any money people who come to the red carpet would love a signed copy. Wouldn't that be cool? And we could take pictures and interview you. I mean, you guys have to be there now. Like, we have to make this happen, right? We
let's
have
make
to
it
manifest it
happen.
into form.
Yes, let's make it happen, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
I would love
Okay.
that.
He loves to travel. So Nicholas loves to travel. So that's
yeah.
you can cross that off your bucket list now. So Niagara Falls.
Hi. All right. Well, then, if everyone's watching, if you want to meet Nicholas and Danielle, you got to come to Niagara Falls June 1st so that we can have all these amazing families connect hands-on experience to grow your mindset and be able to have a really great featured family future with the whole group of us here at Raising Empowered Kids.
Yes,
Yay.
love it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nicholas and Danielle, for sharing all your amazing wisdom and story. We loved it. We had so much fun.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you guys in June.
I can't wait now. Oh my goodness, our featured family.
Awesome.